So as I'm sure you know, the God of War 20th anniversary came and went and all we had to celebrate was a new skin, among other goodies here and there. But this anniversary was specifically hurtful because during the lead up there was a little bit of excitement mixed in with a sprinkle of hope. This was the case because Jeff Grubb, a pretty reliable gaming insider, claimed that PlayStation would finally reveal the much anticipated God of War remasters. But he was wrong. Oh, so very wrong. And to add insult to injury, Jeff Grubb also doubled down with an even crazier claim this time. He says that there's still a God of War project coming out this year, and even crazier still, that its setting won't be Egypt, but Greece. I don't know what to think about this anymore. A big part of me just wants to say that these people are using God of War hype to get clicks on their articles and podcasts. But something else that bothers me about these rumors is that they don't come from a single source. Months before Jeff Grubb started talking about this upcoming Greek God of War game, Thomas Henderson, another video game insider, claims something similar. That Santa Monica was working on a Greek God of War game, and that it would feature a younger Kratos. What's going on here? Are all of these insiders just copying the others' homework? Or is it possible that there is a smaller Greek God of War project in the works? I think for the sake of our collective mental health, we have to believe the former and say that they are just making this stuff up. God of War right now is very popular and any mention it gets is guaranteed to generate a lot of engagement on their platforms. However, unlike Hodor, I am not blind. I am not so naive as to think that lore and story relevance are the most important factors that decide which game developers make next. Because if we're going by that logic, the next entry in the God of War series Santa Monica should make is an Atreus game. Santa Monica has been hinting at this since God of War 2018, and with God of War Ragnarok, it became very clear that this is something they were planning. And recently, PlayStation has realized, and hopefully the entire AAA industry has realized, that games have become way too expensive to make. And gamers overall just want smaller games back on the menu, things like Space Marines 2. So it makes perfect sense for them to make a smaller Atreus spin-off game. However, I think Santa Monica has finally accepted something very painful. Most people do not like Atreus, at least not as a protagonist. Eric Williams has said before that he knew the Ironwood section would be controversial, but I'm not sure he knew just how controversial it would become. Not only Ironwood, but almost everybody agrees that a big reason why the story of Ragnarok felt so slow at times was thanks to the Atreus sections. They just couldn't generate enough excitement for Atreus, not even by linking him with the higher plane of existence storyline. It's sad because Santa Monica has invested so much time and effort into making Atreus into a likable character, and people still don't want anything to do with him. I see this even in my own videos. A couple of months back, I uploaded a video discussing why I thought Kratos would be going to Egypt next, and the video became a hit, reaching over 100,000 views. So then, as a content creator, naturally I decided to make a part 2 of sorts, a video talking about why I thought Atreus would be going to the Celtic pantheon. I had a similar title, a similar thumbnail. You wanna know how many views that video got? 14,000. I'm only talking about this because it's a nice visual of what the community thinks of Atreus, and I'm sure Santa Monica knows this. As much as I want an Atreus spin-off game, I think they're going to make Atreus lay low for a while, which is why I think they decided to test the waters with God of War Valhalla, a free DLC that took Kratos back to Greece. And what do you know? Everyone absolutely loved this DLC. Look, there's just something special about Greek mythology, especially to people who live in the West. Most of us grew up with these stories, we can relate to them. The monsters look cool, the architecture is breathtaking. Whenever I see one of those Corinthian columns, I just want to put it inside my ass. I was saying, Greek mythology stories are simply timeless classics. So of course we went bananas when they brought it back into God of War. And look, I love Santa Monica, and I know they care about the fans, but I don't believe for one second that they made all of these Greek assets for a free DLC and then said goodbye to them. There's just no way. Valhalla was just as much about giving Kratos a good send-off as it was about testing the waters with its fans, and the water was just perfect for their liking. From a business standpoint, I don't think making a Greek game is that insane. I think Santa Monica could see an insane amount of sales, especially if they decided to make it a shorter game like Space Marines 2. And there might have been some hints about this Greek game since God of War 2018. During Kratos and Atreus' visit to Tyr's vault, Kratos comes across a Greek vase. However, the moment Atreus gets close to him, Kratos purposely drops the vase. This in itself isn't a hint of a possible Greek game. It's just a scene that reinforces the journey Kratos went through in that game, the theme of being ashamed of past mistakes. But longtime fans of the channel know that this isn't the whole story regarding the Greek vase. On one side, you have the depiction of Kratos having killed the entire Greek pantheon. This part goes well with the themes of God of War 2018. However, on the other side, Santa Monica decided to slip in a little detail: Greek mortals rebuilding their realm. This reconstruction of Olympus is yet to be addressed in a story by Santa Monica Studio. So one possibility for the rumors we're seeing is that Kratos will be going back to Greece for a quick adventure. I like this idea, but I'm honestly not sure how they're gonna handle Kratos' story. I'm afraid that Santa Monica will once again write Kratos as a character who's constantly feeling bad about his past mistakes. This was fine in God of War 2018, it was a little bit overdone in God of War Ragnarok, and Valhalla brought it back again, but at least it was done more organically. And I think with Valhalla's ending, we can all agree that Kratos has once and for all forgiven himself. So if he goes back to Greece, they can't have him moping around again. So I'm not really sure what this story could look like. But it doesn't matter because the rumors aren't claiming the current Kratos is the one who's going back to Greece. The rumors say that it will once again be about young Kratos' relationship with his father. But this is a very vague way to describe a Greek God of War game, because technically this could be referring to a remake of God of War 2 or 3. But I don't know, because I am now convinced that the remakes or remasters were never a real thing to begin with. Basically, from every angle you look at it, Santa Monica won't come out looking good if they do either one of these projects. For example, if they do a graphical remake of God of War 2, older fans will be happy, but newer ones might hate it because they feel the gameplay is outdated. And when it comes to the remasters, I don't think Santa Monica will go forward with it because it might mean angering some very silly video game journalists. And if they don't add these moments, they risk angering the fans. Also, based on the rumors, this story will be about Kratos' relationship with his father. And while we can make a case that this could be referring to God of War 2 or 3, those games are more about the theme of vengeance than they are about the relationship with Zeus. Sure, that element is there, but it's only there as a catalyst for the bigger theme of the consequences of vengeance. So, are we really looking at a possible Greek prequel game? This is the hardest part of the rumor to swallow because if you count God of War Betrayal, there are a total of 4 Greek prequel stories. Is there really anything else to cover? Well, maybe? Again, the rumors say that this game will be about Kratos' relationship with his father. This could only mean that this game has to take place in between God of War Ghost of Sparta and God of War 2. This would also coincide with Kratos' reign as the God of War Mount Olympus, a period in the God of War universe that we practically know nothing about. And I have an idea for a possible premise: the second invasion of the Persian Empire. We know from history that the Persians invaded Greece twice. And we've already seen one of these failed invasions in God of War Chains of Olympus, although this one of course had a more mythical flair to it. But regardless, the Persians didn't just fail to invade Greece. Kratos was responsible for the death of their king, something that might cause the Persian deities to seek retribution. So in this prequel story, we could also tie in the second invasion of the Persians, a much larger battle than the first, officially making it the first Pantheon war in the series, with Kratos having the most important task as the new God of War. But even still, this is a bit of a stretch because I still don't know how they could tell this story about Kratos' relationship with his father. Because by the end of Ghost of Sparta, Kratos still doesn't know Zeus is his father. Yeah, it kinda looks like he does in that scene with his mother, but we know that can't be the case. Because the real moment when he learns this is in God of War 2.
A fear that drove Zeus to kill you. His own son.
His son?
And before you say it, no. This rumored prequel can't take place between God of War 2 and God of War 3. God of War 3 literally picks up from God of War 2's ending. If these rumors are true, the story has to be set between God of War Ghost of Sparta and God of War 2. But at this point it's worth asking if we should even take these rumors seriously. I think the canon answer has to be no. Remember what Kratos said, keep your expectations low and you'll never be disappointed or something. But then again, there's a lot of things that make me think that maybe there's a small possibility that this could still happen. For one thing, you have multiple reliable sources claiming something very similar. There's also the fact that not that many people are excited about an Atreus game. And on top of that, you have God of War Valhalla, which in a way revitalized some of the hype that God of War Ragnarok lost. All of the conditions for Santa Monica to try their hand at a Greek prequel game are there, despite how insane it sounds. But sometimes all you need to make a decision like this is a little bit of green at the end of the tunnel, especially after Jim Ryan allegedly led you astray by making you pursue a project that ended with a lot of time and money being lost. And if you still don't think Santa Monica would be willing to do something like this, I'll leave you with a clip of someone who used to work there that doesn't think things like these are that impossible. Not just the developer, but the creator of the God of War series himself, David Jaffe.
Well, we're not going to make another one. I mean, I love gamers. I am a gamer. I'm a gamer before I'm anything else. But sometimes gamers are so stupid. No offense, but it's like they're not going to make another Nathan Drake game. Well, why? Well, because he retired. He promised whatever his wife's name, Elena, or is that her name?
Yeah, Elena.
He's not going to do it anymore. It's like he's not real. He's a cash cow for Sony. Trust me, it'll take a writer 20 minutes to figure out how to get him out of that promise with Elena.
So I don't know, when it comes to these rumors, I'm just gonna say that I don't believe them, just to keep a good mental health. But I also wouldn't oppose them if they were true. All they need are talented writers to stretch that time between Ghost of Sparta and God of War 2 to make an interesting story. But let me know what you think. Do you believe these rumors? If you do, let me know in the comments below a story you think could work for this prequel. As always, I want to give a big thanks to all of my YouTube and Patreon members for supporting the channel monthly. I would also like to thank everyone who likes and shares my videos. It may not seem like much, but trust me, it really does help. And with that said, thanks for watching. And remember, go forth in the name of Olympus.